Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with episode 2422 of the Cabral Concept. This is our Friday review. Enjoy being able to recap the week with you and, of course, go through all of the different happenings inside of the private practice. I've got a great book review for you this week. I haven't done as many book reviews over the last few weeks or so, and that's because I've had so many amazing products I've been using and wanted to share the ones that actually help. So the ones that I've tried out and I don't really like, well, you'll never hear about those because I do not like to speak negatively about companies and all the things that they're trying to do. I just simply don't think that they're the right fit for our community and our practice. And since I've used so many and I get to connect with so many great people out there, I typically know kind of what our audience and our community is looking for. And so I try to steer you in the right direction whenever I can and, away from the things that I would just never use myself. So that's that. I've got our herb of the week, brand new herb of the week. Many of you may already be using it. And if you're not, I give easy ways that you can add this into your daily diet, plus 2 research studies that you're not going to want to miss. All right, first things first, what is happening inside of not just the private practice, but what's going on in the life and a day in the life of myself and a lot of what our team is maybe going through as well. So one thing I want to share with you is that we just finished up the fall detox. And I'm telling you, I have no idea why, but this fall detox is always one that re-energizes me. And I don't know if it's because, well, we had the end of summer and, there's always that little bit of, I don't know, that feeling of letting it go. And like, that's the enjoyable time, the relaxing time of the year. And then you get back to work and the kids are back to school and you're trying to just get back into that normalized lifestyle. And I just feel that a fall detox, so sometime in September, doing a 7-day, 14, 21-day functional medicine detox enables you to have your mind on something different, a specific goal. And for me, that 1 week of really buckling down on this detox, following a regimented plan, really going back to making sure that my body is healthy and clean for this upcoming winter season, really works for me. And it seems to, I guess, I think for the community as well. We had so many people, thousands of people participate this time, and a lot of energy, a lot of comments, a lot of success stories inside of CabralSupportGroup.com. Again, it's a free group. You are welcome to join, see what's going on over there. And of course, I would love to be able to chat with you right inside of that group. So definitely check that out, CabralSupportGroup.com. If you have no idea what a functional medicine detox is and what am I talking about, you can go to StephenCabral.com/detox. I also have a free course for everybody. If you haven't already taken that, you're welcome to. You can just go to StephenCabral.com/courses. The functional medicine detox one is completely free, nothing to buy. And you learn how this major organ, if you're watching this on video, right, my buddy Walter here, you can see how this liver fully filters all of the blood in your body every 6 minutes. And I shouldn't have used the word fully. So what happens is it's not able to detoxify everything. And that is easy to see if you were to run an environmental toxicity test, a minerals and metals test, something that actually looks at environmental-based toxins. But we'll save that topic for another day. I just wanted to share with you, in my opinion, this was one of the most successful ones. I really looked forward to it. I wrote an email, if you get my Sunday Rewind email, on why I needed this so much. And part of it is that I'm traveling so much until about December 1st. So if you heard my previous podcast, you know that I travel a lot for work, not as much as I used to, but certainly I travel twice a month now. It's getting to be like 3 times a month. And although I don't like to be away from my family, I understand that when I do travel, I get to meet more people. I get to spread my mission, at least what I'm looking to do. And so it's always that, that give and take, that little tug of war that I'm saying, I don't want to leave my family, my 2, young daughters, but I also want to continue to push forward what we're doing, which is bringing at-home functional medicine lab testing to the world and things like wellness-based protocols such as the heavy metal detox, functional medicine detox, parasite protocol, and so many more. So it's always it's always back and forth. But I don't know if there's ever anything such as complete balance. But I feel like it's a good flow. But at the same time, it will be a lot of work. It really will. And so I'm using these detoxes to help keep me healthy, which brings me to my last point, that right after Thanksgiving, either the Monday after or the Monday after that, I'm going to actually do a second 7-day, I'm calling it a holiday detox that I'm just planning on doing to keep myself healthy with all that travel up to that point. And then I'm sure there'll be 1 or 2 fun flex meals over that Thanksgiving week, getting back with family too. So looking forward to that. I really am. I don't look at it as a burden or things that I have to do. I look at it as things that I get to do. I get to do these things for my health, and it pays me back. I mean, it really does, is that I have the energy and I have the health that I've always wanted, and I want to keep it that way. And so anyway, I wanted to share that with you. That's what I have going on in my world. And the last thing is, I just have a note too from my team that if you have not already signed up for our free newsletter, I would definitely do so. And the reason is that hopefully you're seeing the debut of the Cabral Living magazine. Again, that's completely free whenever possible. We try to give all these things away for free. Not free to us, but we make it free for you. That's our goal. And I've done now product reviews on a lot of my favorite products. You probably saw the different red light mask I was talking about. You saw the PEMF mat I was talking about. And I believe, yes, this week I had my really debut of the sauna that I've been using now for many, many years and the upgrades that it's gotten. So hopefully you check that out. And I'll be doing a full product review of that next Friday, but I did send out my email newsletter on that on Wednesday. So typically, if you're a part of my newsletter, I only send out a maximum of 2 emails a week. One on Sunday, which is my Sunday rewind. That's more philosophical. It's my musings, my thoughts, and really where I see the industry moving or what I see people struggling with and how I can help. And then a recap for anything you might have missed during the week. And then on Wednesdays, not every week, maybe twice a month, I send out one of my favorite products that I'm using and how I use it. And so that's that. All right, what's going on over at Equilife this week? Well, I should say, we're giving away a free bottle of our CBD gummies. This is by far and away one of our most popular products. Unfortunately, Equilife is still not able to carry CBD products on the Equilife website. It is what it is. I'm not trying to fight against the tide any longer on that, but we do have a site called equilibriumcbd.com. You can go there every single day for these particular products, but I also that I love to give away my favorite products for free. And that's what we're doing this week over at Equilife. So all qualifying orders to the states that allow us to actually ship CBD in the United States, we are doing that on all qualifying orders right now at stephencabral.com/shop. That'll take you right over for your free bottle of CBD gummies. They're absolutely delicious. You can dose them however you want. At 10 milligrams, you can cut them in half. If you want to use them with kids, you can use 10 milligrams. You can work up to it yourself. You can take 3, 4, whatever you desire. You'll find the right amount for you. And with a delicious watermelon flavor, there's no doubt you are going to enjoy them. All right, so that is that. A recap for the week. On Monday, I did a show called Our Actions Are Evidence of Our Beliefs. And again, I might retitle that. We'll see. But that's the gist of the show. And I think it's so important that you check out that show. And the reason is that a lot of times we say one thing, we visualize one thing, we want to believe one thing, but we do another. And the doing is always the truth that our subconscious believes. So please check out that show. Really, really important. I love doing the Mindset and Motivation Monday. It's one of my favorite shows, if not my favorite show of the week. All right, Tuesday's show is the best oils and fats for lectin sensitivity. So if you're dealing with the lectin sensitivity, easy show on which ones to avoid and which are best. On Wednesday, we did a case study on hormones, stress, menstrual cycle, and pregnancy. Real life case studies I try to bring you once or twice a month. And yesterday's show is the top 20 reasons to detox. And this was a fun one because I did this really in conjunction with Therasage. And that was a well-written article. And I wanted to bring that to you because, again, I always love being able to bring you the best of what I'm reading and what I see. All right, that is that. I want to share with you a book that a wellness client of mine, a private wellness client of mine, wanted or shared with me that I should read. And I said, sure, I'll read it. I love reading books. Why not? And this one's called Drop Acid. This one's actually by David Perlmutter. And the funny thing is, I had this sitting on my shelf of unread books. So if you know me, you know I love to read books. I read multiple books per week, but I always have like 20 to maybe 30 books. They're just stacked on my desk. When someone gives me a recommendation, I buy it or I see it, it's a bestseller. I'm like, oh, I got to read it. I want to know what people out there are reading. So I've had this one and they mentioned, I'm like, All right, I'm going to read it. And I thought overall it was a good book. And the Drop Acid is obviously a very, very marketing-based title. But of course, that's what it takes, I guess, to sell books. I totally understand that. But it's about uric acid. So the surprising new science of uric acid, the key to losing weight, controlling blood sugar, and achieving extraordinary health. David Perlmutter, I think, is a great doctor. I think he's a smart doctor. I think he gives overall sound advice. I've talked about his books in the past. So I have no problem recommending this book as well. What I want to share with you is that it's almost like lectins, though. When someone shows up with high lectin sensitivity or high uric acid, it doesn't just mean remove foods that are higher in purines or higher in uric acid that would cause uric acid. It really is. We have to understand that. And obviously, Dr. Perlmutter understands that as well. But I just wish inside of the book, and I know that it's reaching general population, so I get it. And this is not a remark of the book in a negative way. But the truth is that we don't have to worry as much about the foods that we are eating that could lead to high uric acid in the long run. Just like we don't have to worry about high lectin foods in the long run. In the short term, 3 to 6 months, sure, you have a sensitivity to it. You have a sensitivity to purines. Why? Well, you can't break them down properly. You can't clear them from your blood. And Dr. Perlmutter actually does a good job at giving you the underlying root causes, which are too much drinking of fruit juices, not fruit and vegetables, which, by the way, he says are completely fine, which I agree with, because even if they're high in purines or anything that could raise uric acid, they actually don't affect those levels. So just again, that's why you have to go deeper in the research. And again, David Perlmutter does that. Sugary foods, consuming xylitol, not necessarily chewing it, but consuming it, taking diuretics or aspirin every day, drinking beer or liquor, an underactive thyroid. This was an important one because I shared this with my private wellness client. You've never had this issue before in the past. Why now? Oh, turns out your thyroid isn't as optimal as it should be. We're working on that. That's going to clear up most likely the uric acid-based issue. Someone taking immunosuppressant drugs, anybody who's overweight, diagnosed with high blood pressure. If you eat a lot of game meat, think about all the people out there telling you to eat telling you to eat organ meat every single day. Right? Eat a pound of liver every day. We have to be careful with that. Nobody in the history of the world would really have eaten a pound of liver every single day. So again, let's slow down with these wild diets. All right. I have no problem with somebody eating a little liver, a little kidney, a little whatever it might be. But a pound a day, what are we doing? Someone that eats red meat or pork 3 or more times per week. Again, doesn't affect everybody, but may cause higher levels of uric acid, higher purine seafoods, deli meats, and then people with metabolic disorder. So again, there's underlying root causes, and until you correct those, well, then you may want to follow a nutrition plan that's actually lower in foods that would raise uric acid levels. So overall, a good book. If you want to learn more about uric acid, well, this is the book for it. So check it out, and I'll link it up today at StephenCabral.com/2422, where I'll have literally every available link there, unless, of course, it's a nutritional supplement, and the FDA does not allow linking to nutritional supplements where you talk about actual diseases of the body. All right. Next up is our herb of the week. One of the herbs, and I've talked about this before, but I feel like at least once a year, you should maybe dedicate a show to something that's so powerful and so healthy for the human body, unless, of course, you have high histamine levels, right? Or high levels of lectins or lectin sensitivity. That's the funny thing is that's why there's never an all for one. So, and that's why I do give people a hard time, but it's really tongue in cheek because there is no all for one. There's no all for one supplement. There's no all for one, whatever. It's meaning not everyone is going to benefit from a, low lectin diet, and it's unnecessary. Not everybody's going to benefit from a low carb diet. It could be actually harmful, but anyway, I digress. But there is a product that's great for a lot of people, and it's matcha or green tea. Now, I'm going to talk mainly about matcha here today, green tea. It's been so well studied, and I'm going to give you some of the benefits in just a moment. But the thing about matcha is that it's basically supercharged green tea. What does that mean? Well, it's green tea that instead of steeping it in water, it's actually ground down into a powder. And it's this beautiful, bright colored green powder. So you've heard me mention before that it's, my wife's beverage of choice. She loves her green tea. Sometimes she'll put a little coconut milk in that and make it into a little green tea latte with our little spinner thing, whatever you call those things, the mini blender things, and froth it right up, make yourself a nice warm matcha latte. But the thing is this, it is green tea that's actually specifically grown, so it's shade grown for at least the last 2-3 weeks of its life cycle before it's picked and ground down. And it enables it to boost its levels of antioxidants, chlorophyll, and there's one other big benefit that I'm sure I'll be able to link up and find for you as well. So the amazing thing is that with all of these antioxidants, oh yes, it boosts its caffeine levels as well. So when you get the caffeine, you get the antioxidants, you get the chlorophyll, that deep green pigment, you're also getting the L-theanine, which is unique to green tea. That means you get some of the stimulant effect of caffeine, which is about 40 or so milligrams of caffeine. So think of it as like 25%, maybe 30% of a cup of coffee. However, it contains something called L-theanine. And L-theanine keeps that nervous system calmer. So you don't typically get the same jitteriness or anxiety that you may get with coffee-based caffeine or even black tea. But again, the real benefit comes from cardiovascular improvement. It helps with endothelial function. It helps with overall healthy levels of inflammation. It helps with higher levels of blood pressure. It can potentially help with cancer, being a great anti-cancer. And again, I have to give you my disclaimer, but again, you know that I'm not giving you any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, or medical-based diagnosis. And a couple of the other interesting things about this is it doesn't take a lot. A couple cups of green tea per day can give you the majority of these benefits. And a lot of it does come from what people call those plant toxins, right? That's why I always laugh at that. Because the chlorophyll, because those brightly colored phytochemicals are there to help reduce or balance levels of inflammation. That's why they're so protective. And the other thing is it shows that it can help with fatty liver, as well as overall liver detoxification, metabolizing toxins. That's a real thing. It can help boost brain function, even potentially Alzheimer's and dementia as well. So easy to do, right? And one of the things that if you haven't downloaded it already, I certainly would. It's on pretty much every single podcast page. So you'll probably find it on episode 2422, which is today's show, is that in one of the daily fruit and vegetable blend, or the little green juice things that I make, you could just put in a tablespoon of matcha, and you could do it before a workout. And that can be your pre-workout, and it's delicious. I mean, it's an easy thing to shake up, mix up, and you can drink it cold. You can drink it hot if you want. You can put in a little bit of raw honey if you need a little bit of sweetener, whatever works for you. But you can find a way that you might be able to mix this into your smoothies or your green juices to give you that benefit of that EGCG powerful antioxidant. So hopefully this was a helpful review on that. And again, that is matcha green tea. It's MATCHA. All right, 2 research studies for you here today. And of course, one's on matcha, right? I wanted to bring you one on the specific randomized 12-week controlled study. This was done in Japan, and it was actually done with matcha as a green tea. And so how they looked at it specifically is that they gave people it in capsulized form. Why is this important? Because they can use it as a supplement as well. We use it in many supplements. I'm not going to go through that today, but it can be very, very protective. And they did this for cognitive-based testing. And they wanted to see how does matcha, or if it does or not, help under stress. And so let's see. The primary endpoints were changes in cognitive function and reaction time as measured by the Cognitrax UKT test, the latter of which is a mildly stress-inducing test to measure cognitive performance under stress. Secondary endpoints were blood levels of beta amyloid and related proteins and brain-derived neurotropic factor. You've heard me talk about before, BDNF, which again, green tea and matcha have been shown to improve. As might be expected during the single-dose test, caffeine was more effective than matcha for reducing reaction time as measured by the Cognitrax. On the other hand, after the single-dose test in continuous 12-week dosing, matcha was more effective than caffeine for increasing the amount of work performed as measured by the UKT. And again, that's a specific test. There were no significant changes in the blood markers. Thus, the matcha, with its combination of theanine and caffeine, supported long-term maintenance of mental focus more effectively than caffeine alone. This is in line with previous studies that show theanine supports mental clarity and results in relaxed yet focused state of mind. So I love being able to see that, because L-theanine keeps you calm, while caffeine can help with cognitive function and improvement. This article was written by Kathy Head. She's a naturopathic doctor, and she reviewed the research. So wanted to share that with you. Again, one more reason that you may want to look into matcha. All right, the second research study of the day is how a Japanese herbal medicine protects the gut against inflammatory bowel disease, specifically though, colitis. All right, so there is a study on something called DKT. This was published in Frontiers in Immunology. This is a well-reputed or renowned journal, and it looked at reducing the severity of colitis in lab mice. And I know that it was a mouse-based study, but it has to start there before they can do it with humans. And what they found was that this substance DKT, I'll share it with you in one moment, the way that it worked is that it prevented the loss of healthy gut bacteria, and by increasing levels of specific immune cells in the colon that fight inflammation. So what is this DKT formula? Well, nothing too wild, but it contains 4 specific herbs, actually 3 herbs, I believe, and 1 form of sugar, and I'll explain how it works. So DKT is a formula containing ginger, pepper, ginseng, and maltose. So you've heard me talk about you've heard me talk about all 3 of those, but you've heard me talk about ginger many, many times in the podcast. That is because it calms the bowels. It helps with the kidneys and liver, so it helps with filtration. And it can also be excellent for balancing gut-based bacteria. Again, not alone, but good. We use it all the time with, again, we're not treating disease, working on the underlying cause of IBS. All right, pepper, how can that help? Well, we use pepper quite often as bioperine in many of our nutritional supplements. It helps with absorption, but also pepper can add heat to the digestive system, which can help with bowel or intestinal peristalsis. So it keeps things moving. And again, we've chatted about that before. Really powerful. Both of those super high in antioxidants. The last one is called ginseng. Now, ginseng we use for circulatory. We use it for adrenals and energy and other properties. So it's interesting that they added in ginseng with this. They didn't give specific mechanisms as to why, but I can just assume and hypothesize that it may have to do with the circulatory, with the immune modulating, and with the natural anti-inflammatory based properties. Now, the last one was very interesting to me. It's maltose. So typically, you wouldn't add maltose to anything. That's like the sugar in beer, right? So why would you have maltose? Well, I'm just trying to jog my mind as to why they're doing this. Well, they're trying to prevent the loss of healthy gut bacteria. So what they're adding in is actually a fermentable sugar. So the fermentable sugar is giving the healthy bacteria something to use for growth. So I thought it was interesting. I think it's worth looking into. I don't know that we should dive into this quite yet for humans until we know that it's working even better, but worth exploring, because these are all natural herbs that I love to see being used even more so in conventional medicine, because conventional medicine now in Japan, medical doctors are actually using these, but most countries beyond the US are much, much more advanced in bringing true integrative health together. The US is just so locked on to pharmaceutical-based modalities and interventions that they honestly shout down herbal-based medicine whenever they can. But I like to bring you the truth. I like to bring you an unbiased perspective on it, and hopefully this was helpful. I can let you read more in depth on this specific study by linking it up at stevencabral.com/2422. Hope this was helpful. Take care, and I'll be back tomorrow with our Cabral House Calls answering our community's questions. Take care, everybody.